We're here today on the Dahlgren Heritage Rail Trail. It's in King George County, Virginia. It's about 60 degrees right now. We're at mile marker 0.0. The Dahlgren Railroad was established in 1941, or was started in 1941. The federal government came in and condemned land that belonged to private property owners because they needed to transport munitions from the Richmond, Fredericksburg, and Potomac Railroad, which was in Chatham, Virginia, Stafford County, Virginia. They needed to transport supplies and munitions to Dahlgren Naval Base, which is located in Dahlgren, Virginia on the Potomac River. The railroad was started before World War II. I'm sure the FDR administration and the politicians back then saw the impending war coming, and they wanted to prepare for it. Between 42 and 43 it was completed. It was started before Pearl Harbor, I should say that. And much of the railroad is still in use because you've got the Birchwood power plant, and they still bring coal in to the power plant. Miles of the trail, 15.7 miles of the trail. The railroad, the tracks were ripped up, ties torn out, and the rail line remained in operation all through World War II. At one point it was used as a passenger line as well. Between 1957 and 1963, all of that ceased. 1963 it was considered surplus, and then later it was sold, and RF&P Railroad, Richmond, Fredericksburg, and Potomac Railroad bought it. When the RF&P Railroad was bought out by CSX got it. They decided to sell it. Long story short, a private citizen bought the land here in King George with every intent of converting it to a rail trail. That was in 1997, 1998. Many politicians have been involved for a lot of political reasons. The King George County supervisors did not want to approve the rail trail, and we are in 2025. It is still pretty much permit, well, it is permit use only, but they have made some headway. Friends of the Dahlgren Heritage Rail Trail, they have made some headway, but it's still permit use only, which I have a permit. You can go online and apply for it. It's easy to get. You just have to sign a waiver. Since this is close to my home, I wanted to come and ride it. I would not classify this trail as being handicap friendly. I'm going to be taking my time today, and I do have backup. My wife is standing by in case I have problems. But yeah, it's as you can see, it's a little bit rough, and it's getting better all the time. But this section, some of it's really good, some of it's not, and we'll review it as we go down today. But the friends of the Dahlgren Heritage Rail Trail are doing an awesome job of keeping this trail up. They're doing the best they can. They could use your support, and you can volunteer. I think it's a very worthy cause. I'm not going to get into all the politics that's been involved with it because honestly I really don't know. The railroad was also used to transport sand from Solite, which is to my right hand side, to the right of the trail, across State Route 3, which is Kings Highway, and they did use it to transport sand out from that area where they dug it out from around the river. So the railroad's been used over the years, but the section we're riding on now has been pretty much abandoned since, well, at least 63 anyway. The Dahlgren Naval Base is a naval research facility, and it's named after Admiral Dahlgren, who invented the modern munition, smoothbore guns for naval ships, and he was appointed to head up the, I guess what would have been Secretary of the Navy back then, under Abraham Lincoln, and the base is named after him. I do know that the rail gun was developed there, as well as the Aegis system. Military people can chime in on that know more about it, or at least Navy people. But it's still in use today, and this trail is sandwiched between the Rappahannock River and the Potomac River. And this section of trail looks to be pretty decent. They've got mile markers up, and it looks really decent. A lot of leaves on the trail, still railroad ties stacked, but it looks really decent. And there are people out here using it. You can apply for a permit and use the trail. There are, I believe, 4 road crossings that you have to go across on this trail. So you really need to be mindful of these roads. But I want to show you how high up the railroad bed is from the bottoms, and hopefully the camera will do a halfway decent job at showing that. And of course the trail, and then we come over to this side. And there we have it. This on my left is called kudzu. It's a plant that was put in, I want to say in the 50s or 60s, but I know it was put in by initially the Virginia Department of Highways to help prevent erosion, and they found out just how invasive it really is. And that's how invasive it really is. It's a constant battle to keep this stuff in check all throughout Virginia, and I'm sure other states as well. But to be fair, it does prevent erosion. You can see there are better sections of the trail as we go. I believe this is Indian Town Road, one of the major cut-throughs between Route 3 and State Route 218. You really need to be mindful of traffic. Easy as we go. Major power line that crosses the railroad trail. This section appears to be a little bit nicer than what I was just on, but we will tell as time goes on as we ride. I'm going to be what their long-term goal is to incorporate this into Caledon State Park, which is a state park over on State 218. But they do want to incorporate this, but they haven't had much luck because they've had a lot of political pushback. And like I said before, I'm not going to go into that. I know some of it, but I don't know all of it. And there's always two sides to every story. I do know that the Northern Virginia Gun Club has a range along this trail, and that was of some contention. But they were here for a long time, and I'm sure that played some part in it. There's supposed to be some picnic areas and camping areas along this trail. I guess we'll find out if that's true or not. I was debating upon whether I was going to put another saddle on this bike. I put the Cell Royal on there, looking in saddle, which is designed for a 60-degree lean, which is pretty good for me. But on longer rides, even though I take breaks, it's a little hard on the ass. I guess because I sink in too much to the gel. But what I'm looking at is either the Brooks leather B17 or the Brooks Cambium, which is vulcanized rubber with a some type of fabric cover over it, I think. Either the C17 or wow, that's pretty, or the C19, which is more for an upright bike. Here's some of the dips in the trail that you will encounter along with roots. Definitely doable if you take your time. There are no restroom facilities along this trail. I mean, there are a lot of trees for you to pick and use, but no restroom facility, no water. So you need to make sure you bring plenty of water. Now we're getting back into rough trail. Okay, we're at the shooting range where I told everyone that it was potentially dangerous to trail riders, which it's not. There's some of the concrete barriers they've put up. The trail runs right through the range property. Rifle and pistol shooting range. I suspect this is probably some of the issues. You are entering an area where the adjacent property owner, Northern Virginia Shooting Facility, has shooting ranges on either side of the Dahlgren Railroad Heritage Trail. It is important that you stay on the trail and do not leave the DRHT or trespass on the Gun Club property. Well, that makes sense. You may hear shooting taking place as you continue for approximately 1/4 of a mile. Continue on. I can't read the rest of it. You will see a similar sign informing you when you are leaving the shooting area. Horse riders have to dismount and walk their horses. Okay. Makes sense? No problem. This tree looks like it's about ready to come down. It's already come down. It's just rested in the fork of another tree. Windy day today. This trail was rough at best. I could ride it a lot easier than I can walk it. Walking is the issue for me. Standing any length of time, walking, sitting any length of time too. Definitely would not recommend this trail in its current condition to anybody with disabilities wanting to ride a bicycle. I just would not. Maybe sections of it, but as time progresses, I'm sure it will get better and better. They are working on it. I commend them for that. And another sign to remind us to stay on the trail. I hope my camera stabilization is working today, because it's definitely needed. They do have good mile markers up, very good ones. So you always know where you are. And I would recommend bringing a map. They have maps online, or using your GPS or Strava or whatever app you may have for riding. Here's one of the benches to my right. I just use the Trek app on my phone. Here's some of the roots in the path, the trail. I see another railroad tie. I'll get a shot of that. There are a lot of benches through here to sit down on if you want to come and, I don't know, look for wildlife. If you're into bird watching, that sort of thing. Be good for that. more of the natural wetlands along the Potomac. We're coming up on Indiantown Road. I did check my map, my Trek app, and I'm right this time. This is the Indiantown Road crossing. All a natural, beautiful wetland. More railroad ties. Oh, how nice. Nice parking area at Indiantown Road. Actually, I don't know that it's a parking area, it's a turnaround zone. But we get a good view of the natural wetland. Very pretty. Just to reiterate, if you do choose to come and ride this trail, you need to go online to the DHRT website. That's Dahlgren Heritage Rail Trail website. It's listed under the 10 rail trails in Virginia. And apply for a permit. It's easy to do. You just go in and give them your information and read through the waivers, and make sure you read through the waivers and initial and sign them and email them back through the website. They will send you a confirmation email that they received them, and from what I can understand, that's your permit. It says on the site that once you do that, you can go ahead and immediately utilize the trail. From what I've seen so far, Bloomsbury Road, you can go down some of that. It's kind of rough. That's mile marker 0. But so far, from Indiantown Road on, I don't know what we'll find further down, but it seems to be in pretty good shape. So if if I had to recommend any, that would be it. Probably from here all the way to Dahlgren. But more than likely, you're going to end up going through some residential or commercial area, because they did sell off a little bit of the railroad bed back. I'd have to look to see what year, to private developers. It's not much, but it's enough. But it's going to come out right next to the Sheetz gas station and convenience store in Dahlgren, Virginia, right across from the entrance to the Dahlgren Naval Base. It's the oh, here's the picnic area. Where we came from. Excuse me. This is a big picnic area. This is just east of Indiantown Road. I suspect you can park at Indiantown Road. It's a big enough place. Go check the website. These are fairly new. Donated by Kevin Bondi in memory of Frank and Helen Bondi. That's very nice. Big nice fire pit. Picnic tables. Firewood. Looks like a lot of places you could throw up a tent. Although, like I said, I would check the website, which I did not look for camping, to make sure it's okay. Donated by the Schlemm family in preservation of Lake Caledon, the Berry Farm. Folks, this trail is a work in progress. They've had a pretty tumultuous history with trying to get this thing established. But this is a nice addition to King George County and to the area as a whole, to the state.